we learn something. So as speakers are presenting, think about what you can ask. Really, and we have the motto of no question really is a bad question, even though sometimes there are bad questions, but I'm saying that think about the question. And if you're thinking about it, someone else might be. So ask. Really, that's how we all learn. So we have our Twitter wall, #1MC. There are 83 other cities that are presenting at this time, and so give some love to our presenters. We're also broadcasting live on Google Hangouts, so we're going to tweet that link on the hashtag a few times so you can share it. So Anders will tweet that out. It's just a broadcast. If you have friends that couldn't make it and you want them to be able to see it, he's going to tweet that. We have some giveaways today. We'll do those in between presentations. Giveaways from Provo City. So without further ado, we'll go and get started with Mr. Fox.
All right, good morning. Nice to be with you. I arrived and they said, okay, you've got like 5 minutes and then shut up and have people ask questions. So it's a nice intro of being here. So it wasn't quite that harsh. I've been down here a couple of times before. I'm Stephen Fox. I'm the acting managing director of the Rollins Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology at BYU. And I was invited here just to provide a brief overview of what we've got going on at BYU and then to handle questions that you may have. Let's see if I can get this. If I can advance this here. Oh, I know, it's the wrong machine. That's fine. That works a lot better. So just a little call out saying the Rollins Center has done well for a number of years and gets nationally ranked in a very positive sort of way. So the last 6 or 7 years, BYU's undergraduate and graduate programs from an entrepreneurship perspective finish in the top 10. So we're just delighted by that and love the growth of the program, and some great things have happened over the last number of years, and we continue to move forward in that regard. So what we try to do is reach across campus in a very broad sort of way and pull in students from a lot of different areas of campus. It's not just about the business students. We want computer science involved. We even want those with law degrees, humanities, Spanish, those who have business ideas or want to be part of growing a business. Those who are interested in innovation. We want them to know about the Rollins Center, come and visit us in the Tanner building, spend time with us, and make use of the great resources that we have. So we try to be very active in getting across campus that way. Just brief vision statements about our grandiose goal of being a global leader in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation, and to make sure that we're tapping into the great resources of alumni that we have, which we really think is the secret sauce to why the Rollins Center does well year in and year out. We have, and I'll mention this in a little more detail, but we have over 100, 120, 130 mentors that are alums of BYU who love to give back to the students, love to meet with the students free of charge, give them advice on the business ideas that they have. And so we're really very, very proud of that. So this is the slide I'll just take about 2 or 3 minutes on, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. The way we think about the center is we have 4 different areas of focus or pillars to this little house that we've got up here. We believe we have world-class curriculum. We have 32 different courses at the undergraduate level that relate to entrepreneurship and innovation. At the graduate level, we have 25. So you can imagine we have a number of faculty members involved in teaching our students about innovation and about entrepreneurship. We have a whole scheduled series of networking events, workshops and things to pull students together. You may have somebody who's a really good developer but has no concept on the business side and wants to get teamed up with somebody who can handle finance, accounting, and other things. So we try to provide networking events for the students to get together and form relationships and potentially companies. We have a series of competitions that we run on the BYU campus. Some of you may be familiar with those. And we encourage our teams to participate in competitions that other schools have. So BYU hosts a number of them. We have the big idea pitch that usually happens in the fall timeframe, and students can earn a little bit of money by finishing in the top section of that. We have the business model competition, which occurs in kind of the February timeframe, and that's where we're asking students to really think about the methodology surrounding lean startup and being disciplined about that. And then in the early April timeframe, we have our Miller New Venture Challenge. So which of these, budding companies actually have got some traction in the marketplace? Do they have revenue? Do they have partnership agreements that have been inked, or letters of intent, or whatever it may be? And we give away $15,000 to the top 8 teams. Why? Because we want these teams to be building these business ideas over the summer, and we run an accelerator over the summer that we call our Founders Launchpad, and we usually take about 16 BYU teams, and then we have these students be heads down over the summer, 40, 50, 60 hours a week building and live elsewhere, but actually to be here in Provo building out these business ideas. And we provide them with mentorship. So we have alums who are with them, helping them grow. So it's a very impressive sort of accelerator that we run, and we're grateful for that. The last thing I'll mention is, you can see the fourth pillar is that mentoring. And so it's quite interesting, the commitment that we get from alums who want to give back in this sort of way. So that's, in 5 or 6 minutes, that's what we've got from the Rollins Center. You're going to see us as we move forward. Some small tweaks to the way we do things. Things have been great there at the center, but we can always get better. We think we can reach across campus in a stronger and better way. We think we can reach out into the community in a better and stronger way, which is one of the reasons why I'm here today. I've been working closely with the City of Provo, counterparts at UVU, U of U, seeing how we can kind of lift all boats here in Utah Valley, Salt Lake Valley, and not see ourselves as competitors, but let's work together for the good of students and others who are in this great ecosystem that we have in this part of the world. So we have an outreach effort going on, and grateful to be here as part of the community this morning. So I'm done blabbing. I've done my 5, 6 minutes, whatever it is, and happy to attempt to answer any questions. Please, yes.
What are the metrics that they use to determine the top entrepreneurs?
Good question. So kind of what's the algorithm behind the rankings, the Princeton rankings that come out? So we tried to deconstruct that, kind of like it's a Google search algorithm. So we know certain parts of that. Key parts include number of faculty who teach entrepreneurship, number of courses that are held, so the curriculum, the number of student teams that actually go into business. Are they still in business 5 years later? Are they still in business 10 years later? What's the revenue picture associated with those companies? How much money did they raise over that time period? Also, how much earnings did these student teams have at competitions, external competitions? One example is the Rice Business Plan competition that many of you have heard about. It's very well known in the U.S. And last year we had a BYU team for the first time that won the Rice Business Plan competition, and that netted them about $700,000 worth of services and et cetera, right? And so those are some of the key elements that go into that algorithm. I think there's, as I last recall, we're looking at last month, I think there are like about 70 questions that add, we don't know the weighting associated with each of those, but we know those each play a role. So yeah, thank you for that question. Please.
So somebody's a local entrepreneur, not a BYU student, not associated with you guys.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you value for them, or are you just kind of there saying hi to us?
Yeah. So good question. So do we extend beyond the students, right? So is that kind of the question? From a Rollins Center perspective, not so much. Not so much. I'd encourage somebody who's not a student or a student to participate in things like this, right? Get part of the ecosystem in your locale. But the Rollins Center resources are really focused on those budding entrepreneurs and innovators while they're still in school, and try to create a great handoff. We actually have something after we complete what I was describing as the launch pad, the accelerator over the summer. We have what we call an investors day. So kind of in the September timeframe, we'll take these teams that we've nurtured and put them in front of community investors and other interested parties. And so We did this this past September and probably had about 140 people in attendance to listen to 12 teams kind of pitch. Some of them were revenue, most of them were pre-revenue. So if you're an investor, you got to decide what's of interest to you. But that's kind of our trying to connect them into the community and funding sources. But if you're to walk off the street, not being a current BYU student, walk into the Rollins Center, we'll be happy to have you, but we probably wouldn't provide a great deal of resources to you. Yeah, please, Brody.
Two main events, Youth Out Startup Marketplace and the event their communities.
Okay, so that's thank you for that. So Brody is one of the students at BYU, so thank you for that addition. What he's saying is that we do have opportunity for students to meet businesses. And so we have a marketplace, we have an event together where we invite in local companies to come and meet our students. And hopefully there are opportunities there for them to work together, right? So, any other questions? Please.
So about the mentoring, can you describe how an alumni can get involved in the mentoring?
Oh, great, okay. So the question was, how do you get involved if you're an alum, get involved in mentoring? The fastest way to do it is to meet with me. Okay, so we have an online site called getmentoring.com. So a BYU student can go in and register for free using their net ID. And we have the mentors also sign into the program. And then there's a matching system. So the students can look at the profiles of the mentors we have in there and say, hey, I want somebody in the healthcare industry with a finance sort of background as an example. Boom, this male or female mentor, oh wow, that's great, that's the person I want to meet with and have breakfast with. And it exposes the email address of that mentor so the student can reach out to the mentor and say, hey, I'm John, I'm a sophomore at BYU, and I'd love to have lunch with you. I have 4 questions I want to ask you about this startup that I'm doing. So if you want to come at it from the mentor side, meet with me, and then we can get you into the system. So, okay. Great. Any other questions? Have I tired you out already? Okay, yes, Allison, please.
I guess beyond mentoring, what are some ways that you hope the local entrepreneurship community will connect?
Well, just a little bit. The connecting points. I think the question really was, so how do we increase the connection between BYU students and the local community? I'll give you one example. The Launchpad that we're running this summer, we're going to ensure that our students come down here Wednesday mornings for 1 million cups. What a great way for them to learn and also to ask questions and become an even greater part of the community. We also, and I'm not sure if you're here for this, you like that? Okay, good. So, I mean, we've got, we'll probably have 16 teams, and we'll have anywhere from 2 to 4 people per team, and so you may end up having 30 or 40 extra people, whatever it happens to be, on a Wednesday morning down here. I think it's a great opportunity for the students to mingle with you folks. So that's a point of integration for us. And as Brody was mentioning, a couple times a year we pull onto campus. We pull businesses that hopefully are kind of small, medium-sized businesses that they're looking for BYU talent, and hopefully have conversations with students at those opportunities. So. Yeah, please, yes.
And you mentioned earlier that you have a number of undergraduate courses that you offer. Courses. How many students involved?
Okay, how many students are involved in total? Thank you, great question. I should have mentioned it earlier. So BYU has roughly 30,000 students. And in any given year, about 1 in 7 students at BYU will take at least 1 class in entrepreneurship, which I think is a phenomenal number. And that also goes into the algorithm, the Princeton algorithm. So I think that's one of the reasons why we do very well. So we have a broad swath across campus. Now, some of those students will take several courses in entrepreneurship, but to have 1 in 7, I'd love that to be 1 in 5. And that's a good goal for us as we're moving forward over the next couple of years. So it's quite impressive, the engagement we get. We run a couple of guest lecture series, Monday afternoons and Tuesday afternoons on campus. We have about a total of 450 students that attend that. And so we have local entrepreneurs come in for 50 minutes and tell these students about their businesses and what they've learned through life and their pitfalls and the things they've done well. Then we have a Q&A session afterward. So this is one of the highlights on campus. these sorts of guest lecture series. So we have, we've had, well, I won't give you names, but a lot of well-known people that come to campus and spend time with our students in that way. So thank you for that question. Anybody else? Yeah, Chris?
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
How is your transition as like a business person from out of state, right?
Yeah.
So how's it been moving from out of state to Utah?
Okay.
What's your experience been?
Okay, it's been horrible. That's good. No, so just a little background on myself. I'm joking. So I was born and raised in Seattle, lived in 7 different states. The last 24 years, have lived in the Seattle area, 18 plus years at Microsoft. Not from a technical perspective, but from a marketing perspective. Before that, I was with 2 software startups. And before that, in the medical device industry for 7 or 8 years. So I have both kind of an entrepreneurial background as well as a corporate background. I'm a big proponent, and this is one of the directions we're going to be slightly tweaking what we do on campus, is entrepreneurship is fantastic. Intrapreneurship is also fantastic. So we have students who may not be ready to start their own companies, but the skills of innovation that we can teach on campus, they can apply those in a number of different settings. So if you go work for MetLife, for Shell Oil, or Google, or whatever, you can be an innovator there as well. So just a different slant on the skills of innovation that are picked up. So I did my undergrad at BYU, so I was used to Utah in that sense. My wife and I are now proud citizens of Provo. We live in the Grandview area, so I wanted to be close to campus. I'm about 7 or 8 minutes away from campus, which is a lot of fun. So we can do athletic events and performances and stuff like that. So we're adjusting, but it's been positive, so it's great to be here. So what was your second question?
Last question.
Okay, last question.
What can we do as a 1 million community for you?
What can this community here do for us? Oh, that's an interesting question. First off, top of my head, I'd say receive my students well when they start joining you in May. So they'll be down here May, June, July, and August as part of our accelerator. Seek them out, ask them questions, teach them, because they'll have plenty to learn. But if there are business opportunities with them, network together with them. That's something you can do over the summer months, which will be terrific. I'd love also to consider, as this gentleman was asking about potentially becoming a mentor, anybody else who's interested in that, please set up some time with me. I'm Stephen F. at BYU.edu, STEVENF at BYU.edu, and I'd love to have a chat with you in that regard. So, off the top of my head, there's a couple of them. So. All right, you bet.
We have our 1 million.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Very kind of you. Thank you.
All right, so we've got, real quick, we're gonna have Allison come up and do a giveaway.
So if you follow us on social media at all, you might have seen a special someone dressed up in Provo swag. That person was Nathan. So this week is kind of special because we have somebody from 1 Million Cubs headquarters here, Bradley over there in the shirt. And so we decided to do a little giveaway in his honor. So if you brought some friends with you today, you can stand up. Did nobody bring friends with them today? Oh my gosh.
Joseph May over there brought me.
We'll say Shane brought Ken, so Ken in the back.
Okay. Wait, I guess if there's that many people that
All right.
brought friends, maybe you can just come up.
Come up, if
You
you.
brought me going up there.
Let's hand them out. Why don't you-
Okay. So we have Provo flag.
Provo flag.
And now you can also wear it as a
It's
cape.
also a cape.
Yeah, so just
Pretty awesome.
Very cool. Yeah. Joseph,
Wait, there's more stuff. There's
Yeah,
more
there's more.
stuff.
My mission. And then
Yeah, we have a Provo water bottle.
a year too.
Yeah. Also people who have been here for the first time. Raise your hand for your first time. Look at that, there we go.
First timers.
All right, so Scott and Nathan, you want to help hand some of this
Yeah.
stuff out?
Let's do some of these.
So keep your hands up if you're here for the
These
first
little
time.
lights light up if you ride a bike. If you're a pedestrian in Provo at night, it's pretty useful. But this is my favorite thing, probably in the bag. This is an unreleased Provo City t-shirt.
Ooh, unreleased Provo City t-shirt.
Yeah, that's what you get. For
Oh, whoa, this guy's getting. So we've got first timers too. So
first
we got.
timers.
Let's go ahead and hand it out, Allison. Thank you guys for coming. You know, we've got more and more giveaways that we'll be doing. We've got companies that are excited to give some love to the community. So.
Yeah, Winchester Hills. That's right, pretty good. I returned my mission from the end of the war and gave my.
Well,
That's great. Thank you. How far away did you live from Denver?
So while Allison's giving that stuff away, I'd like to actually invite Brad from 1 Million Cups from Coffin Foundation to come up and just talk to us a minute or two about Coffin and give him the mic.
Thanks. How's it going, everybody? I wasn't really prepared for this, so I apologize. This is going to be kind of ad lib. So again, my name is Brad Chapman. I work for the Coffin Foundation. Just started this year helping run the 1 Million Cups program in Kansas City. And so this year we'll hope to be in 100 cities. So we're growing pretty quickly. So my experience and background at the Coffin Foundation, my previous role was to help find and fund exemplar entrepreneurship support organizations, much like the BYU program. We've recently rolled out a new 4-pillar strategy, so I've contributed quite a bit to the evaluation and metrics part of that. So my skill sets will be brought on to 1 Million Cups to kind of help evaluate the program moving forward, and try to grow as responsibly as we possibly can. You know, I was telling you guys earlier, I'm impressed at how mature this Provo City community is. You know, a lot of times, in my experience, is that the university 1 Million Cups, or 1 Million Cups, they're based in highly university populated areas, are typically much younger, much more disconnected. But to have the BYU programs, to have successful entrepreneurs, members of the chamber, I mean, you guys are incredibly well connected and are doing some really amazing things. So I would certainly encourage you guys to take the time, meet up with these guys. If you guys have ideas or you know, any challenges you're facing, reach out, be open, talk to the people that have been there, done that. That's the best way you're going to learn. So take advantage of your community. You got an incredibly supportive community and an awesome space. So do everything you can to take advantage of these guys while you got them. So, yep.
I would give you a cup, but I think you have it. Very cool. Then we've got an announcement from Startup Ignition that we'd like to do.
Hey there, it turns out that there's a disruption going on globally in education, and that's for skills-based education. You don't have to matriculate to university, you don't have to take a lot of classes that don't mean anything. You can go to an approximate 3-month course and learn how to code. You can learn digital marketing, and also you can learn how to start a company. Startup Ignition is the boot camp for entrepreneurs who are in the process of starting a company, want to learn the tricks of the trade and some tips and hints and how to avoid a lot of mistakes and really make it. So some of the top professors from BYU have joined forces and are teaching these courses here in Provo, right in this room. Tonight at 7 p.m. we're doing an info session and sample class. We're going to talk about cap tables and founding ownership issues, which is the #1 source of legal problems for startup companies, and fights and skirmishes between owners and a misunderstanding ownership and percentages. We're going to show how to manage that and understand the process of starting a company and making sure that you keep your capitalization table set. CapShare, the leading software worldwide for tracking your cap table properly so that when you go for venture funding, your cap table does not have problems, is going to also be there tonight. And so that's 7 o'clock in this room. You're all invited. Please come and see that. We're filling up cohort 3 of Startup Ignition. It starts March 14th. And we'd love to have you come tonight and participate in this room tonight and be a part of the fun. We're going to have some food and refreshments too. Thank you.
Startup Ignition has had some really cool cohorts, good companies go through it. So a couple of friends of mine have really spoke highly about the program. So if you get a chance to check it out, Startup Ignition. Where we're going to be going, we've got the modern day briefcase.
Woo!
Thanks, Chris. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Is that online?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
Intro.
there we go. 5 a.m. work music, I guess. Let's see. 1 second. Let me pull up my campaign here. It was pulled up, but. So while this pulls up, I'll tell you a little bit more about myself. I went to law school and I spent about 3 years as an attorney in downtown Salt Lake. I did a variety of things. I started off in kind of entertainment, patent law, litigation stuff, and then I did did a little time as an insurance defense attorney and realized I didn't want to like ruin people's lives anymore. And so I had an opportunity to get out of being an attorney, and I jumped at it, and I went and I worked at Freshly Picked as the director of operations for about a year and a half. And so I never really thought when I was in law school trying to figure out where my life was going to be that I would be running a Kickstarter. But life goals, I guess, right? I started coming here. It's interesting the 1 Million Cups guy is here. I started coming to the 1 Million Cups about 2 years ago. We came on we come as a company every once in a while, just come and check it out. And it was interesting for me. I got really inspired by the people that I saw here on a normal basis, just the things they were doing. And I'd done some, in one of my classes in law school, we had studied the litigation that arises out of Kickstarter. That was really my only interaction with it. And coming here, there was a couple people who had done Kickstarters, and I got really fascinated with the idea because I was doing a lot of manufacturing for Freshly Picked. I was kind of flying all over, doing all these different things, and we always had these issues with having enough money to pay the manufacturing bills, dealing with the inventory. One color doesn't sell very well, and all of a sudden you have to put it on sale. Just all these issues that arose, and I became fascinated with this idea of Kickstarter, where you just pre-sold things. You didn't actually have to have the inventory. You didn't have to deal with the headaches of, well, what are we going to do if this doesn't sell? And just kind of thinking about that and different ways to start a business. When I was in Italy a little over a year ago, and I talk about this in my video. I'll turn it on here in a second, but I kind of had this idea for a backpack, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool if somebody did that. I'm sure I can find one. And I actually, when I came home, I tried to find a backpack that kind of had this professional look to it. I could wear to meetings, I could take for traveling, and not feel like an old person, still feel like a younger guy, and have the convenience and comfort of it. And I couldn't really find exactly what I wanted, and I was like, you know what, sure. I wrote it down. I have like a little idea thing on my Google Docs, and I put it in there, and I was like, maybe I'll get to it in a couple of years. And about 2 months later, so I was reading, there was like these top 10 Mark Cuban quotes I found online. Someone sent me or something, and I was reading through them, and he had this one, and he said, as an entrepreneur or in business, you have to kick your own butt. Because if you don't, somebody else out there is going to kick your butt. He's like, you're either going to be either beating yourself or someone else is beating you. And for whatever reason, when I read that, I was just like, I'm going to do this backpack. Screw it. So I started getting up at 4 in the morning and working on the design and the manufacturing and working on my contacts. And then about 6 months ago, I left Freshly Picked because I was going to launch in August or September, then October, then November. And now it's March, I guess. It's hard to remember. It's been a long 24 hours. But so now we're up and going. Yesterday we raised about 20% on our fund, and I'll go ahead and I'm going to show the video here, and then we can do some questions and stuff. So,
Hello, Kickstarter. My name is Joseph.
Oh.
This is the modern day briefcase.
So,
Is that this room?
yep. Yeah, it's over there. Yeah.
largest limit in the world. And I was there for the purpose of flying large enough to work with international kids. As I was going around meeting with these different individuals, I found that nobody was taking me seriously. As I kind of started to look around and figure out what was going on, I realized that I looked like a college kid because I had on this college backpack, the classic nylon backpack that you'd see on any college campus. And then every single person I talked to looked at me like I was a kid and was not taking me seriously. And I kind of had this moment, this aha moment, where I realized, well, what if I could have a backpack that was not only functional, useful, great at organizing stuff, but also looked professional, like everyone else's bag that was at this conference. And that was when the idea for the modern day briefcase began. After getting back from one, I sat down and tried to come up with different concepts I wanted the bag to have. The first thing I wanted was the look of the bag. I wanted to make sure the bag looked like a high-end satchel that you could carry to any business, anywhere in the world. The second thing we wanted was for the bag to have the best materials, so that it would be durable and last throughout your career. To do this, we started with the highest end leather we could find and the best wax cotton. And not only is the material durable and water resistant, but they'll also age and beauty over the course of your career. The third thing we wanted was to make sure the bag was functional enough for the modern day professional to enable them to carry everything that they need throughout the day to keep it organized and easy to access. To do this, we created a padded laptop sleeve with a latch that will hold your laptop in one place throughout the day so it doesn't get damaged. We also added 8 internal pockets that you can use to store anything that you will need throughout the day. To make sure the bag is made of the best quality, we're going to make it here in America with manufacturers that I've used and I trust. I am so close to bringing the modern day briefcase to market. I've set up the manufacturing and all the vendors that we're going to need. And now I'm here on Kickstarter asking you to join me and be one of the first to own the modern day briefcase.
That's my campaign. Any questions? Yeah.
How do you arrive at your pricing?
Like the price of the bag. I tried to just make sure I wouldn't have to write a check at the end of the campaign. So just how the cost of manufacturing the materials, and then I did some math in there. All right, I hope I did math in there. We'll see what happens. So, yeah.
So what's your pricing? What is your price?
So the first 200 we're selling for $250, and then after that it goes up to $280. I think after the campaign we'll try to sell them for $350. And when you make stuff in the U.S., it just gets really expensive. So the leather that we actually put on the bag, there's a #1 tannery in the world in Italy that I've worked with them before. And that's where we got the leather from. We got the best wax cotton. We just try to get the best materials so it'd be something that would last for a long time.
So what's the size of market for a bag that price? What's your market cap, and how do you have a big enough market to actually go out and make money with it?
That's a great question. I guess we'll kind of find out. I mean, I think it's mostly young professionals, people who are just starting out in their career, been in their career a couple years. Maybe they travel a lot, kind of that area. So, yeah. Dave?
You have any kind of warranty with the bag or any kind of essential service? We've
kind of looked at a couple different things. We've thrown some different things around. We haven't settled on anything right now. So, yeah.
It seems like you've been pretty much doing this as like a one-man entrepreneur, which kind of goes against the advice that we're getting from all these different sources that say, look, you'll fail unless you have a team of like 3. But it looks like you've successfully launched, and your percentages are looking pretty good for one day on Kickstarter. And you pretty much just outsource everything as kind of a one-man entrepreneur team?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, and I don't really want to partner. I don't want to deal with that right now. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Or maybe we'll on a different project. But I was talking to an entrepreneur a couple weeks ago. I actually wrote a podcast, if you're ever interested in entrepreneur stories, on iTunes. And he ran a really good Kickstarter campaign. He was talking about how when you start a company, you want everyone to be, A players, like the best people, so you don't end up doing their job. And I took it kind of a different direction. I just went and found the best groups that I know to do the manufacturing, to do the design, to do the marketing, and that's kind of how I've chosen to do it. So, yeah. So someone over here? Okay.
So you said that the problem that you're trying to solve is making this. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what are the problems?
Well, one of the things so when I traveled a lot, I wanted a bag to keep everything organized. As I was going, I used a couple different backpacks, didn't have a lot of organization stuff in them. And what ended up happening with my stuff by the time I got home, it was just kind of like a ball of garbage. Like cords were all wrapped up in different places, trying to find cords on a plane, like headphones and stuff, and not ruin them when you pull them out of your bag. And I'd had a bag that was really great at organizing stuff, but it didn't look very well, it didn't look professional. And so that's kind of where the idea came, to kind of try to put those two together.
What's your Kickstarter campaign marketing plan? How are you going to get people to the page and
We're doing I'm working with the Facebook marketing group. It's supposed to be pretty good. And we'll see how good they are. They've had a little bit of success so far. We're going to be getting on to a couple different publications. I think Uncrate's coming up in the next week or so. A couple other like online publications like that to kind of get the marketing going. We should be on Product Hunt later today. So if you see us upload. So. Anybody else? Thanks, man.
I'm just curious what size laptop that is.
So if it's up to a 17-inch laptop, yeah. Yeah.
You said you had vendors, how are you going to distribute it?
Just online. Yeah, I'm going to try to just keep it online. Maybe do some Amazon afterwards. Work with some international stuff. I don't want to deal with. I mean, the problem is once you enter wholesale, then you've got to figure out what to do with everything when if they don't like a color and they send you back 100 backpacks, like then they want their money back. And then you got to get a warehouse to put those 100 backpacks somewhere, and then you got to store the other 100 backpacks that you have that you're going to try to send to someone else, and it just kind of becomes a mess. So I just kind of hope to keep it in mind.
As far as that online retail goes, as you've been building out your Kickstarter, are you currently working on, a store of some sort, or is that something you're going to be after you build a Kickstarter?
We have an online store already set up. I've been like doing stuff. I've been running a blog off and stuff like that for like the last 6 months, just so it's already ready to go. Yeah. Cool.
After the backpack, what products are next?
Not really right now. We'll see. I mean, I had a grand plan of like doing a couple different Kickstarters, and so we'll see if we can get some other things together and see how this one goes. They kind of all, hopefully, we'll build off of each other. So.
Has anybody done something like this in the past, where they've kind of tried to make the backpack briefcase combo?
Probably. I mean, I couldn't find, like, the only reason I ended up doing one is because I actually went to try to just buy one because I could use it for traveling. And what I found, like, wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I'm sure people have tried to do some type of form of it before, but the one thing I saw is everyone always tried to make it so, it can be a backpack or a briefcase. And then you look at it and it's like, well, I'm not going to use that as a backpack because it's a briefcase, or I'm not going to use that as a briefcase because it's actually a backpack. And so I just really wanted a backpack, so I only made a backpack.
And have you done, like, what kind of validation have you done in terms of like finding out whether or not in people's mind they're okay with it being kind of bold?
I mean, I talked to like everyone I knew, sent a lot of emails, talked to all my friends, their friends, that type of stuff. And then I just wanted to launch on a Kickstarter to see like validation there. So, yeah.
How do you feel about the response you've got so far? And how are you feeling about everything? So it's day one, but
yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I think, you kind of get these Kickstarter dreams where you see people raise like $300,000 a day and you're like, oh, that could be me. And then it doesn't happen and you're 2 hours in and you're like, oh, wow, this is, it's really hard. And so I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. We're like 20% funded. And we still have some pretty good stuff coming up that should be coming up the next couple of weeks. I believe we're going to be Well, I know we're going to be product of the day in the design group of Kickstarter next week, and then I got an email from Kickstarter last night, and they told me to make a couple changes, and then they'd probably put me on as site-wide product of the day. So, and we were able to negotiate some things with Kickstarter before we started to make sure we got a little more publicity on their end. So, I mean, I'm optimistic. I guess I'm stupidly optimistic. So.
They already have their favorite products.
We've got a lot of things from Kickstarter, and I think there's some other things coming too. So.
What'd you have to do to get to it? Is it because you knew someone, or how'd you do it?
I was able to reach out to them through a contact I had, and they previewed my project, which they do with everyone. They liked my bags, and they liked the So yeah, let's grab these. So Chris is gonna pass some bags around if you want to come look at them. Oh no, over there, Chris. On the sorry, didn't have a table, and so I didn't put them out. But yeah. So anyone else?
I'm curious about your efforts to get lots of mentions through social media, and kind of in the end, how many mentions were you able to get out there to your campaign?
I'm not sure with Facebook. I know that we got a pretty good number of shares. I know that on Instagram, I was able to get about right around 5 million impressions yesterday.
5 million?
Yeah, that's the way they calculate that, is just by total followers of somebody. So if someone has 1 million followers and they post, you're able to say, oh, I got 1 million impressions, but maybe like 8,000 people liked it or something. So we did really well on Instagram. The traffic hasn't quite translated over to Kickstarter, so we're gonna work at trying to get that figured out. We have some really good posts on Instagram for the next couple of days. So.
Is that through influencers?
Yeah.
So speaking of Instagram, have you ever considered using Instagram as a driver for a store, doing ads that you can then purchase through Instagram, things like that?
Yeah, it's a little bit harder with Instagram because of the linking. You can't really put links. I think on the ads you put on Instagram you can do linking, and then there's like some purchasing services where people can.
Yeah, you can put on the ad, they'll take you to an actual store.
Yeah. Well, I think there's even a service like you can type buy in the comments, and then but they have to be pre-set up to purchase. So I think that there are options with that, but I haven't looked too much into that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Kickstarter, but are you allowed, if you will, use the term allowed, to go on like Indiegogo or other crowdfunders at the same time?
I think you could. I think that'd be kind of risky to do, to kind of divert the traffic. I think you'd end up diverting traffic, and then maybe you don't hit your goal on either one, because the people who went to one just kind of split to the two separate campaigns. I'm sure people have tried it. I wasn't really, I didn't consider that, so. Cool. So,
How much does it weigh?
I can't remember. I put it, I knew it at one point when we were doing our shipping, and I was figuring out how much shipping would cost. I can't remember right now off the top of my head.
So you have laptop cases on your Kickstarter?
We do, yeah. We have laptop cases that we made out of leather, and then we're also doing a journal that's made out of the leather. We just didn't want to. I personally didn't want to have like a bunch of. I didn't want to have like 10 different products on there. I really just wanted to focus on the backpack, because I think you get in trouble when you spread out your manufacturing and you have to make all these different products, and it makes it hard on minimums. It makes it hard on getting all the materials, making sure everything's good on that end.
Some of those items you're going to sell separately along with the backpack and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, last question. What can we do as a 1 million cups?
Well, so later today, and I need to follow up on the contract, but we should be put up on Product Hunt. So if you could go and upvote us, Product Hunt, that'd be great. Also, if you could go to the campaign page and share the campaign on your social media, that really helps on the algorithms on the Kickstarter search pages. It pushes you up higher. And then if you like it, you could buy it. That'd be awesome.
So, thank you guys. If you haven't felt the backpack when you do, you'll know why it's so freaking awesome. I love it. What was that? The cup. And yeah, we've got Joe. We've got a cup for you, man. So, it's for your career, bro. We appreciate it. As much as you can do to support, I personally want to see these backpacks make it, let's help them get to 40. Because I want to get a couple. I want to get a backpack. So, I will. So, awesome. We have one more giveaway from Allison. So, we're going to have Allison do a giveaway. But we thank everyone for coming out. We appreciate the Kaufman Foundation, Brad, being here. It's excellent to have him. And, the time is yours after this to connect and meet people next to you after the giveaway.
Okay, thanks to all of you who came for the first time and who brought a friend. So our last giveaway will be a trivia question about our community. So I'm going to describe a startup, and the first person who can tell me who the startup is gets this back and whatever is left in it. So this startup just got back from Africa. I think Tanner was the first one with his hand up. Sorry, but congratulations to you! Yay! It was Nusana. Melissa just got back. I'm really excited. So thanks everyone for coming today.
Good to see you again. Have a great day. You too.
Wait, so they really are saying that live?
Now, but we're live. Got one person watching us. Nathan. I think it's Nathan in his
Great. So you already know this one. I hear a lot. Very encouraging. Do you have a card?
Yeah, so I
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's it, so, it's just like, it's just like, it's made me think yeah, sorry.
I think that's it, but I like this color.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
It's like one of those things where it's kind of like minimalist, understated, like performs a good function, it's probably sturdy, so it's like not flashy at all, but it does look good.